London, and can you please introduce yourself?
Yeah, my name is Luke Abrams. I'm a VP of Product at Kano Computing Limited.
Cool. Can you tell us a little bit about your company?
Yeah, so Kano is this really fun company. I'm having a great time working here. We make products to help beginners of all ages learn how to code, learn about technology, feel empowered to be able to not just consume but create with technology.
Cool. And do you host like any kind of events here?
We do. We regularly have people from the local community in, usually children that come in, people from primary schools, elementary schools for you Americans that are learning how to code for the first time, learning about technology. We bring them in to help teach them about tech, to teach them how to code, and to help us build and refine the products that we're building to help serve them in that way.
That is such a great mission. How long have you guys been around for?
We started off as a Kickstarter in 2013. I've been with the company for a couple of years now. But it started off with our founder, Alex Klein. He's got a cousin, Nico, who was 6 years old at the time. And Alex was studying at the same school with Eben Upton, the creator of the Raspberry Pi. And he brought one home and showed it to his little cousin, Nico. And Nico said, well, this is really cool. How do we do it? How do we actually make a computer with this thing? And at the time, there was this big, thick manual that you had to read and download all these different Linux redistributions and very complex setup process. And his cousin Nico got bored with it and basically said, make this as simple as fun and as fun as Lego, and then I'll be interested. And that kind of sparked this mission of how do we take tech and make it easy enough for a 6-year-old to be able to use it.
I mean, the product definitely speaks for itself. Can we kind of show the evolution of the boxes and what the product looks like today?
Yeah, absolutely. Come on over. So here's some of the earlier versions. So this was before the Kickstarter, and it was Alex and the other co-founder, Jonathan, that were in a flat in North London and just put together a simple piece of cardboard folded up with a Raspberry Pi in it and a little book. And the book was kind of the star of the show here. And as you can see, it's very isometric Lego style, one step at a time, explaining what the components are and how you plug them in, and demystifying how technology works.
I need this for my parents.
You need it for your parents?
Yeah.
You should get one. They're for sale on Amazon. So this was kind of the early version of it. And they went to Kickstarter, and they thought maybe we'll sell a couple hundred of these things. Maybe this will be of interest to hobbyists, people that are interested in Raspberry Pi but want to have a simpler way of getting into it. It ended up being one of the most successful Kickstarter campaigns of all time. Raised over $2.5 million and spawned the beginning of an actual company that's going to try to go make a difference in the world. So that was the first version. As you can see, this was the version we sent to Kickstarter customers. This one doesn't actually have the stuff in it.
That's how popular they are.
That's how popular they are.
Fly off the shelf.
Yeah, they fly off the shelf. These are leftover boxes that we use as one of our conference rooms right now. And as you can see, the first product itself evolved and evolved and evolved. A lot of that has been operational evolution and getting the bill of materials down on the product so we can get the unit economics right for us. Then in 2015, we introduced this. It's a screen that you build yourself to go along with it. We found that kids, especially if they had their own dedicated screen for it, that their usage went up, their enjoyment went up. They're not having to share the living room TV. So that was kind of our first expansion of the product range.
Yeah, and you own the whole thing as a kid, which is really cool.
Exactly. It's your personal device. You don't have to share it with mom and dad and compete with rugby on TV or whatever.
Can you talk a little bit about this keyboard here?
Yeah.
Where did this keyboard come from?
So we make this ourselves. This was the first piece of electronics we did. So the Raspberry Pi, of course, we buy from the Pi Foundation, and we put some plastic and cable around it. This was designed for kids, and the first version of this was meant to be plugged into televisions, or maybe a spare monitor. So this is kind of a lean-back 10-foot keyboard where I can sit, and it's got a built-in touchpad, and the left and right is over here. And it's, as you can see, I've got normal, I hope normal, adult-sized hands. This is sized for children, so it really feels like it's made for them.
And it looks like you have a lot of fun stuff going on in this office back here. Can we kind of see some of the cool demos that are happening and kind of look around?
Yeah, do you want to demo the people or the products?
A little sample of both? Yeah, I think a little sample of both would be nice.
So we got a team of about 60 folks. Most of them are here in our London headquarters. We've got designers, we've got customer care people, we have engineers, we have salespeople. etc. And then we have a team of about 6 people in Shenzhen. We are rapidly expanding our product line. We're going into mainstream retail this year. And we manufacture our own plastics, cardboard, and some new electronic devices, some of which I'll show you today. But most of the folks in London sit here in this big open plan office and wear headphones.
Cool. Yeah, can we talk to some people or see some of the products?
Yeah, absolutely. There's lots of interesting people to talk to.
Who's going to be first?
Ricardo.
Such a mystery.
Would you like to be on TV, my friend? Sure. Come on. I saw him standing. This is Ricardo Luz. He's a technical product manager here at Kano. Do you want to tell me a little bit about what you do?
Yeah, a bit of everything, but at the moment we're working on some awesome products, the Kano 2 products. I don't know if you guys seen the Pixel Kit yet.
We have not.
Pixel Kit, but don't tell about the other ones.
Oh yeah, I won't tell about the other ones. Okay, and yeah, so from breaking some ideas, prototyping, making sure we deliver the software to our China team. Yeah, from beginning to end, from sketch to final product.
Cool.
I like to say that we're a super full stack company.
Clearly, yes.
We do everything from plastics to apps and everything between electronics, PCB design. This guy is just as adept with a soldering iron as he is with an IDE. One of our technical product management powerhouses. Here's another guy, Mike Greer. This is Mike. Let's tell him a little bit about yourself.
Yes, I'm another product manager working on the kind of learn to code software. So a lot of our hardware is all focused on the idea that you can tinker with it, that you can change how it works, and that you can learn to code through the like step-by-step challenges that walk you through the basics. So we're building that all mostly on the web and then as a standalone app as well. So a lot of challenges in rolling that out across dozens of platforms with dozens of pieces of hardware that it supports as well.
Absolutely. Can we see some of the demos?
We can. Do you want to talk tech a little bit before we go into the product demos? You want to straight to the product
Let's
demos?
do product demos and then we'll wrap up with tech.
Okay.
Because I'm dying to see some of this. I'm going to swing over this way.
Yeah, no worries.
Oh, of course you have a 3D printer.
Of course, we've got a few. Yeah, we do a lot of rapid prototyping here. So here's the computer kit and the screen kit. I showed it to you earlier. So it runs a variant of Raspbian. So Raspbian is based on Debian. It's a Linux-based operating system. We put our own friendly beginner skin on top of it, and we can do things like hack Minecraft. We built our own app that layers on top of the Raspbian version of Minecraft, where you can drag and drop blocks and give yourself superpowers in Minecraft. Scratch is very popular, and these things are our own made-to-order learn-to-code apps. And then we have this cool little story mode in here that has your little character walking around a Raspberry Pi and explaining how the components of the Raspberry Pi
That
work.
is cool. Yeah, I like that a lot.
Yeah, it teaches kids how to use technology. And then, of course, it's actually a general-purpose computer. It's got a browser. You can go to Wikipedia. You can use WhatsApp on it. So here I am on SD Beach, and I'm learning how an SD card works.
This is the most enjoyable RPG I've ever seen.
It is an RPG for nerds. It's really nice. Yeah. So you, and the story in here is you're chasing this little rabbit and trying to catch up to him, and he just you can never catch him. Don't tell the kids. But he leads around the map. And here's the micro USB port, and it goes into the lighthouse. And if you climb to the top of the lighthouse, there's an LED at the top, and it teaches you how LEDs work. Demystifies along the way. And the fun little dialogue like this. Yeah, the lighthouse is where we see the electrical energy to power the computer. Just little, simple, accessible things to teach about how all this stuff works.
Cool. Can we show some, like, I see a lot of, like, soldering irons, like stuff happening on desks. Can we take a look at kind of what it's like to be an engineer here?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Because you think about most startups, hi, start an ambush. This looks like so much fun.
Yeah, simple soldering some stuff here. You want to tell them what you're doing?
So yeah, we've just got a new prototype for a kind of custom battery controller. So we're testing it out. It literally just came through the post like 15 minutes ago. So yeah.
Very cool. Thank you.
Yeah, so right in the thick of it right now.
Excellent. Yeah, I guess, is there anything else you want to show?
I want to show you the Pixel Kit. Yeah, so this is one of our first products that we built soup to nuts. So I'll show this to you. So
I'm gonna hop over here.
this little guy is an array of 128 pixels. So I'm going to turn it on. I'll show you how it works. So it's just a nice little startup animation. Sure looks pretty. We hope that this thing sitting on a point of sale display will catch your eye and you'll come walk over to it and look at it. And after it boots up, I'll show you a little app that I built for it.
Cool. And how many apps does this hold?
Well, as many as you want. But so right now this is saying, this app requires this little guy. So this thing is a tilt sensor. It's a USB tilt sensor. I can plug it into a Windows machine or a Mac machine, but in this case I'm going to plug it into the Pixel Kit. It's kind of a little ball bearing that shows what it does. So I'm going to plug it in. Okay, now here's a little game that I built. See if you can fill up the screen. But I put a bratty little brother feature in here.
What?
Boop! If you make too much noise, it resets it. So I built that with my kids last weekend, and I'm gonna move to a different app. This one I call Talking Mouth, and it reads the volume that's in the built-in microphone for this thing and changes the animation based on that. And then one of our team members here submitted this as a little animation that they made. Finding Nemo-esque. And I'll show you kind of how you build all this stuff and how easy it is. So
It looks like you have USBs. You can basically plug this in and connect this into anything you want. For example, hitting APIs or pulling in weather or any kind of fun stuff to interact with.
Exactly. So I'll show you. Here's the app that we built to go along with it. It works for Windows and Mac and, of course, our computer kit. So it's very, very simple, just like the original book that I showed you over there that's Lego style, step-by-step, one thing at a time. It says bring your pixel to life using the power of code. So let's turn all the lights on. So I'm going to drag in this block.
Oh, it's all wireless too.
It's all wireless. Yeah. So now I'm going to turn on just one pixel. It turns on that pixel. I can play around with this value. You can see right here, I'm 10 seconds in, and if I'm a beginner, I'm learning coordinates. That if I do X at 7, Y at 1, that particular light goes on. So now I'm going to change this to 16. Light goes there. Play around with this number. Put that at 8. That's giving me tooltips along the way. And I leveled up. I'm a Pixel Master.
I feel like you'll level up pretty quickly on this. You will, personally.
I will. Well, my kids had a lot of fun with this. So now I'm going to start introducing the concept of a loop. So every 1 second, I'm going to turn a light on. Except now we're going to try random. That's going too slow. Let's change that. Build it up. And I'll change the value, make that go to 16. And it builds up one step at a time until you're doing very, very complex things, but with relatively few lines of code, such as the apps that I showed you earlier. So this one, for example, is about 10 lines of code. Pretty straightforward. And even for those that aren't necessarily wanting to do coding per se, there's a really fun mode that I really like. So you can, of course, do things like stream text. You can stream in data. You can stream in weather. You can stream in sports scores. This is a full Linux single-board computer, as powerful as the Raspberry Pi that we manufactured ourselves. And I can SSH into this thing. I can do some really fun stuff. But I loved the animation mode for this. This is the one that my kids probably spend the most time working on. So I go into the animation part here, and you can just see, let's hold it side by side here. We can do.
Oh, wow.
It's all kind of live. live, real time, and I can duplicate and add cells and go into the individual ones and change colors for it. And it's just real quick and easy. And this isn't necessarily coding per se, but it's creativity with technology. And I think this is really true to the spirit of our brand and what we're all about. It's kind of the merging of the arts and the sciences.
So in addition to everything it does already, it's like a 2017 version of Lightbright.
Exactly. It's the modern Lightbright.
That's really cool. Could we talk a little bit about some of the services you guys are using today to kind of power this?
Yeah, absolutely. You want to take it over?
Hi, I'm Arif. I've been here 2 years. I head up the software team. And as you've seen on the software side, there's lots of interactive software there, all built in JavaScript, using the latest frameworks. Polymer is quite heavily used. And a lot of this stuff is hosted on AWS. And we're thankful for the AWS team. They give us a really amazing product out there, really robust. And yeah, so we're using a lot of the features on the AWS to host this. We're using Root 53 for the DNS, S3 to host our single-page applications, and our API that powers the OS, the new kits that we see here, all use our main API hosted on Elastic Beanstalk. So super scalable architecture in place, all geared up for hundreds of thousands of users we're anticipating this year. And yeah, at the end of the day, happy kids.
That's really cool. And you guys also, I mean, you're constantly innovating and trying to figure out what people are like to use the device and what's working, what's not. How do you do that? Like, how do you figure out what's useful?
Sure. So we have anticipating lots of users and hence lots of data coming from them. So most of our software is using lots of tracking and analytics software behind the scenes to capture events, capturing what they're doing on sites, how long they're spending on there, and all of this comes to us via our API. And what our teams do here is we do a number crunching, so we have a data warehouse, again hosted on EC2 instance, and we have a data team behind it, and there's lots of eyes on the data from the product guys, and all of this put together helps the business make crucial decisions on what to build next, what features to add on. Yeah, it's really important for us, our data.
You think about building a device that a child uses like 15, 20 years ago, it would take years to get all that data and that research. And here, you guys get that in near real time to figure out what to start working on tomorrow.
That's right. So we have dashboards on screen there that shows us instant data from kids using the data now, and all of that put together gives us insights for the future.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much, both of you, for taking the time to demo this, give us a tour. Really appreciate it.